Hi, this is Camille and Gretchen, and we're starting over.
We're starting over, y'all. We're starting over again with a brand new video.
That's right.
Starting over is our series. Thank you so much for being here. Like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff that you're supposed to do with us.
Thank you.
Let's get that over with. Camille and I are how you say that word?
Astrology.
No, astrologically.
Astrologically.
Thank you.
Astrologically, very similar.
See, there she goes with big words.
We're
and
very
I just
similar.
go like, well, and according to the stars,
you are so pretty.
No, we're very similar.
We are very similar.
We are very similar.
That's right.
We understand a lot of each other.
That's right.
And it's been a wonderful blessing for me because I can maybe be going through something and be like, what does this mean, Camille? And she's like, I go, oh, okay. One of the things that kind of has been hitting home to me that makes sense. And again, I certainly am not one. I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to infect you with everything I believe. This is just what makes sense to me, and we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So if y'all don't agree with it, that's okay. That's totally okay. Don't be hating on me. I had cancer, y'all. Don't do that.
You were a smart girl.
Is really understanding. You know, I grew up in 7 different denominations of Christianity, and so I know Jesus, y'all.
This is what happened. Okay.
I know Jesus.
7 different ways. Go ahead.
Yeah. But what makes sense to me is actually recognizing the divinity of who we are.
Yes.
Not as some weak human that's on the earth pleading for just a handout from God that says you're worthy, here's a little bit. And if you prove yourself, here's a little bit more.
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me only because I believe if we are created in his image, then we are
already powerful.
We already are.
Yes.
And all we are here now is in a human body, but what's inside of us, our spirit guides, our Holy Ghost, whatever y'all want to call it, is actually perfection from...
Sorry, got my hair on my mic. Hope you're not crackling.
Excuse me.
Fix my hair.
Excuse me. Is there actually perfection from above?
Right.
And now, in order to be happy, in order to understand the love of Christ and all that stuff, it's lining up with who we really are.
Correct. That's what I feel too.
You do?
Yeah. And I think, honestly, working with people, how many people I've worked with, there is an alignment, and you've experienced this alignment, okay? So when you are aligned with your natural self and your natural calling and your true north, you know what feels right. You know what feels wrong. That is innate in all of us. We have a natural knowing, I'll call it. And so that natural knowing it should be our guide. That should be our North Star. And when we vary from that, when we stray from that, we don't feel right. And I think what people struggle with is getting back on track and being able to say no to people and having that conviction in their heart of who they really are. And this is where I think people are always seeking. But when I help them find solutions to their problem, that's where I go to is what is your nature? Who are you really? What are you really here for? Why do you really exist?
Right. And if you think about children, about children, they're so pure and innocent that it's easy as a parent to pick up when they're lying or when they're doing something that they shouldn't because their countenance shows it so much because it's completely opposite of what they are. Yeah. I mean, the longer, I'm not going to say the longer we live because there's many, many people that are wise and they're you don't progressively get but you get worse, but we do become accountable. We become a more understanding of what we're feeling and what we're allowing in, who we are becoming.
Yes.
I think some of the most miserable people are the ones that don't want to recognize who they really are.
Well, and those people make us miserable because isn't it true that when you know someone's lying, when you can sense that they're a manipulator or predator, doesn't it just inside just make your blood boil? I mean, and human beings have that natural knowing. We know what's right, what's wrong, and there's a natural essence of justice. We do want the truth to be told, but we can feel that. That's innate in all of us. We all have that kind of that kind of sense of truth, right? So I think that's important to know.
I also think, though, it's more empowering to get to the part where, and trust me, I'm not great at this, but I do try, that even if I don't get the truth, I know the truth.
That's it. That's right.
I know the truth, and my power is basically,
you don't have to
walk away. Because I don't need to prove myself right.
No.
I don't need to prove that you're wrong or you're lying or you're whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that takes some practice, and depends on the circumstance,
Yes.
It depends on what's been done to you. It depends on all kinds of stuff. And what we were talking about was
truth and
truth. But here's what I've learned at my ripe age of 58. Nobody is asserting anything onto me. It is all my reaction, my feelings, my thoughts.
Yeah.
Comes from me and me only.
That's right.
No one is making me do anything. And so my accountability is, you know what? I don't want to feel that way.
Yeah.
So I'm either going to stay in this conversation and tune you out, or I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
If it feels like it's in that mode.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation, maybe you work around people that you just don't feel good.
And you can't call them out.
And you can't call them out. You've got to be able to take your brain, your mind, your thoughts to somewhere else while you're looking at them again. Y'all are going to win an Emmy just like I did. You're gonna be thinking of something else because your vibration, your alignment means more to you than anything else. Means more to you than hurting somebody's feelings.
Yeah.
Means more to you than being right. Means more to you than having to prove a point.
Yep. It needs to.
It has to, because that's the only way we can stay happy.
That's integrity. If you lose integrity, integrity isn't morality. Integrity, it's like if I took a leg off this chair, it would lack integrity. It wouldn't hold your position. But your life would not have integrity if you could not keep yourself in check, in balance. And so if you let other people, sway you constantly, you're going to lose yourself to that. And there's no power in that. You lose yourself and you're influenced by that. Where are you now? Right? You're owned.
Don't you
You're
think too, Camille, that when we find ourselves in a position where our power we feel lost and we've given it to somebody else, like a conditional type situation, I will feel good about myself once this happens. I will feel good about myself once I get that job. Yeah. I will feel good about myself when I lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Whatever we put the scenario in.
But it's always out there.
It's out there. Yeah. And so right now, you're not happy because you're waiting for it to happen out there when you're going to be happy.
That's right.
And yet, I think we talked about this last week. I love this quote because it makes so much sense to me, y'all. I'm pretty much a kindergartner when it comes to things that need to make sense. I'm like, oh, I got it now. The only 2 days out of the year that don't matter, are yesterday and tomorrow.
That's right. Because we got it right now.
Because right now is all you have. And listen, when you go through cancer,
yeah.
You really live for the right now. Like you live every moment for the right now.
That's
now
right.
You do project as far as what you want things to be like, but you appreciate your right now. That is the premise of, why I am the way I am today, because cancer woke me up.
Totally. And I hear this with a lot of clients. It's almost like a life or death moment or some sort of tragedy does have that impact. And it's in those moments when you could lose life that you appreciate life, right?
Yeah.
And I hate to say that you have to get to that point where life could go for you to appreciate it, but that is really when things kind of start making sense. And that's the bottom people have to hit sometimes to go, you know what, I'm going to realign myself. I'm going to realign my world, reprioritize. I'm letting go of things that I'm only doing out of obligation or duty. I really don't want to do that anymore. And so you get real clean with your obligations and your commitments. You're living authentic. You're living true.
Yeah.
Once you kind of realign yourself to, I may only have how many years left, or I may only have whatever. And that's what you did. You had to realign yourself to what really mattered to you.
And it wasn't a matter of that I thought there was a time ticking and I was going to die, because I didn't let myself go there.
Yeah.
But what I did was I actually gave myself permission to be okay.
Yeah.
And I talked to myself in a way as if I were that deity and I really believed it. So I would say things to myself like, I appreciate my body so much, working so hard for me. And I appreciate this chemo that's in my body that is working so hard for my favor. Yeah. I'm the lucky one that gets chemo. There are plenty of people that don't have it. I'm the lucky one, I'm the lucky one that gets that extra chance. Yeah. And it was all a matter of do what you need to do, chemo. Cells, do what you need to do to kind of get rid of chemo. I'm gonna leave the door open. Y'all can leave when you want to.
Yeah.
But it never was a point of, I'm going to feel sorry for myself and I want everybody else to feel sorry for me. Not because I was trying to be any kind of hero, because I didn't want that energy.
And you didn't have the luxury of that. Look, if you let that in, if you surrender, if you quit, that's quitting. To me, that's quitting. If you quit, you're letting the person or the cancer or whatever take you away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally get what you're saying.
And that power that we're trying to tell y'all about, that power that is within us. I mean, we are basically a human vessel for what's living inside of us.